So over the past couple of months, an indie game has been blowing up called Deltarune, and since it's gotten to a new chapter, then people have been streaming it, reviewing it, and dissecting the game non-stop over the past couple months. I've decided that it's my turn to throw my hat into the ring. But first, it is important that I give some backstory behind this game. Deltarune is a game made by Toby Fox, who was known for making Undertale, and it serves to be an anagram of Undertale, with it sharing the same characters but a different setting and time, with the development of the game being ongoing for the past 13 years, starting back in 2012. The main reason why the game was released after Undertale is due to the fact that Toby Fox wanted to know if he can make a game before making the game that he wanted to make, since a developer's first game is never their best. And so Deltarune's first chapter was released in 2018, with an additional extra 6 planned chapters which would be released in the years further. So that's the very short background of Deltarune, and let's just go into it. I'm only going to be talking about chapter 1 in this video due to the fact there's only 4 chapters in the game so far, and I don't really want to be working on this video till like 2029, so we're just doing chapter 1. Deltarune begins with you being allowed to create your own character, with there being a decent amount of customizability, but your choice doesn't matter in this world, as you take control of Chris inside of his bedroom, with you being told to get ready for school. Once you're there, there's a partner project that needs to be done, and since you're late you will need to find a partner, which is impossible since everybody will deny you besides this girl, Noelle, who asks if you can join her group. But it gets ruined when the class menace Susie breaks in through the door and gets teamed up with you. The teacher realises that they can't teach the class due to the fact that the chalk has gone, and tasks you and Susie to get a fresh block from the supply closet. Once getting out of the classroom, you're treated to the sight of Susie eating a chalk, who then instantly berates you, thinking that you're going to snitch on her to get her expelled. Yet she decides not to kill you because she respects Toriel. They both go to the supply closet just to find that there doesn't seem to be an end to it. Freaked out by the lack of walls, they head back to the class, find that the door is locked. The floor seems to slip out from under their feet. You regain control in a new world, with a mission to find Susie. While you're on your quest to find Susie, you will come across some of the game's core mechanics, such as dodging attacks and puzzles. You end up finding Susie in a bush of bubbles, or whatever they are, and she agrees to join you until she insults your speed and walks off. Walking for a while, you meet back up with Susie, as to be attacked unprovoked by the shadowy figure, as you and her both run away. Keep on walking until you come across the castle, with inside being a robed figure. The robed figure then proceeds to tell you about a prophecy, with at the end of it asking if you could join them, which Susie just flat out rejects and dips before some jackass decides to deck the hooded fella and makes a laughable attempt to thwart your progress. His name is Lantern, by the way. The last lantern to the stratosphere, as the legend returns, as he uncloaks himself to show an adorable little thing, who introduces himself as
Ralsei,
Prince of the Dark World. Once leaving the castle,
Ralsei
takes you a tutorial on the combat system, which is a bit late since there was just a fight, but since the fight was so laughably easy, it's not that bad. Anyway, the tutorial tells you of how to fight properly, and of how to do the other stuff like acting and defending. Once you've figured out the battle system, you travel along to the next room, where a golden door takes you to the next section of the world. The next section of the Dark World is the card field. The Dark Forest. The next section of the Dark World is the Scarlet Forest, and this area introduces enemies to fight, and it basically just develops on all the prior knowledge you learnt in the last area. As you trek on to meet back up with Susie, you come across a chef who's had their cake ruined, pad puzzles, until you meet back up with Susie, who
Ralsei
somehow manages to persuade her to join the team again. Next room is the only room in the chapter where there's a shop which contains armor, weapons and healing items, another Lancer encounter, but there's still some meat on the skewer, as there's a funny interaction between Susie threatening him, biting Lancer's face off, Anyway, Lancer dips as we go on to the next puzzle, where Susie just wants to impale herself instead of trying to figure it out. Figured out for Susie to be bummed out at the fact that she can't impale herself as she rushes ahead. The next set of rooms introduces these floors, which switch between being lit and being unlit. The tile that you're on glows, you get sent back to the beginning of the segment. A couple of rooms with that later, and you meet back up with Lancer, who makes a voting bucket to decide what the official name of the team should be. Watch him skedaddle on by and progress through the checkerboard rooms. Meet up with the wannabe Daredevil again, who introduces you to a returning enemy that you faced against in the normal battle beforehand, except this time he has a crown. And this is the only fight that I can think of in this chapter that you can't win against just by fighting, with you instead needing to bow to him in order for his crown to fall off. The next couple of segments take place back in the Scarlet Forest, just to come across Susie and Lancer again, who announces that they've got their villain's name, the Dark Squad. They ain't got a plan though. The next set of rooms has them doing a bunch of random stuff, completing puzzles, getting into a fight for not wishing a monster a happy birthday, designing a weapon of mass destruction that Lancer then steals from you, evading this Goody knockoff, doing laps around this thing. Once you've done all that, you go up against the hardest enemy in the entire game. Okay, never mind. Take your past frustrations out on Susie and Lancer in a fight, befriend Lancer, get betrayed by Lancer and ambushed. You two-faced fuck. Rot in a cell with the
Ralsei.
Get interrupted again by Barney's inbred twin, who managed to break free and attempts to figure out 2 puzzles to get out of their cells. After 2 matching puzzles, you overhear Lancer having a conversation with one of his guards, requesting that the Fun Gang stays in prison forever. You confront him for it. Once defeating Lancer, which isn't hard since he just flat out stops hitting you after a little while, there's some character growth on both sides, as Susie purposely misses the finishing blow on Lancer, explaining that she doesn't want to hurt him, giving the player the knowledge that the characters in this game aren't just written as one-dimensional and can change over time. Lancer sets Chris on
Ralsei
as the team works together as you walk over to an elevator. One to the top, battle, you evade overall attacks, and do puzzles set up by this person who has the idea that the Fun Gang has one brain cell. After doing the cycle a couple of times, you reach the front stage of the castle, the throne which holds the king, who is just flat out abusing his son. Yep, perfect excuse to bash his skull in. Jokes aside, this boss isn't anything, as it's just you hitting him enough time until he gets knocked. The king apologises while Ralsei heals him in return. He attacks him again, with Chris getting pushed aside, as he goes to finish off what he started. Again, similarly to earlier, it shows Susie standing up to Chris, which just stalls the king, so that all the guards can dethrone him. So with the kingdom in peace and an escape in sight, the 2 heroes walk towards the sunlight before Susie suggests that you give a proper goodbye to the inhabitants. When you're going back to the light,
Ralsei
has one last interaction where he takes off his hat and says goodbye. You wake up again with Susie and realise that the school day has already ended, with you both deciding to go home. There's also a secret boss fight in the game, but just to keep it a secret, I'll not say it. So that's Deltarune's first chapter. Is it good? Yes. Is it as good as Undertale? It's way better. Up to the 7 out of 10 by the way.